I'll be right back. I need 1 minute. Hello, hello. Hi. Hi there. I'm going to drink this whole thing of water today. That's my goal. Good morning, good morning. All right, gather your things. Oh my. Gather your things. Have a strap. Have a strap, why don't you? Oh. All right, let me check on my batteries and my cords. Microphone. All right, we look good? Oh. How are you? If you're in Delaware, you're chilly. Shall we? Land on the floor in constructive rest. You could take your feet wide and let your knees rest into each other, or let your knees be apart for a moment. And let's just take a moment to land here. Settle into your practice. Begin to notice your breathing. Oh yeah, breathing. Begin to take longer exhales. And fuller inhales. At the end of your exhale, I want you to exhale again. Inhale, fill your lungs. At the end of your exhale, pause and then exhale a tiny bit more. Even if you feel like you have to pull your belly button down to push more air out. Maybe the next inhale will be a little bigger. One more time. A double exhale. As the breath returns to a natural rhythm, begin to move your pelvis. The knees are apart, not touching each other. And we're going to arch the back off the floor and then flatten the back to the floor. Arching and flattening. Now, when we're in the melt class, I ask you to let the arch be really small. And this is a different motion for a different reason So now I want you to just as gently and smoothly as you can, just let the movement be big so that you're really getting motion all the way up into your neck. Now we're doing this movement to hydrate the discs. Move all those tissues that connect to the spine. Last time. And then just pause in neutral. Maybe wiggle your shoulders away from your butt. Let's go sideways. So my feet are apart. I'm going to put my hands on my hips so you can see. So I'm going to hike my right hip up towards my right shoulder. And then I shift the other direction. So it's a hip hike. The sacrum stays on the floor. The lumbar curve is there, but it's small. And I'm using a muscle called the quadratus lumborum. You can say that, I know you want to. Quadratus lumborum, your QL. And that is what the muscle that is hiking the hip up. So as you hike it up, it gets short. But then when you go to the other side, it gets long. And often one is a little tighter than the other. Can you figure that out? And then just pause in neutral, maybe wiggle yourself out a little longer. And then we're going to take the legs apart and then take both legs right and left. Now one hip is going to the ceiling. Let your head turn the opposite direction of your knees. Maybe take your arms up overhead. This might feel like, oh, I need to pause and yawn. And you could do that. That's a pandiculation. And if you pause on one side, the side of your butt that's off the ground, if you give a little tightening there and kind of think about your top leg closest to the ceiling, the knee reaching forward, the butt engaging. Feel how that lengthens all through the front of your leg. And let's do that on the other side. The cheek that's off the ground engages, the knee is reaching forward, the front of the hip is opening up. And back to center. Bring your arms down and find your strap. We're going to pump the ankle. You're going to be able to see my foot. So I'm going to start with my left leg. I want you to do that too for the sake of great instruction. I'm going to bring my knee in. And this is a good way to do this. So once I have a little bit here, I'm going to loop it around the ball of my foot up towards my toes. And then I'm going to kick my leg out and let some strap out. And my thighs are level with each other. So I'm not trying to put my foot on the ceiling, not yet. My arms are kind of straightish, and I'm going to pull down on the strap, press the heel to the ceiling, and then release. Don't pull down. And I'm going to pull down, bending that ankle, and release. And do it again. Pull down, and release. This time we're going to stay. We're going to pull down, and we're going to hang out here. I'm going to turn a little sideways here. So now keep your leg where it is, but rotate your foot outwards like a duck. I want you to feel these muscles way up in your hip, and then rotate back to neutral. Keep pulling down on the strap. The knee is straight. The leg is kind of low. I'm going to rotate outwards like a duck. Feel it from the hip, and then back to neutral. And again, rotate outwards like a duck, and back to neutral. Last time, we're going to stay, rotate outwards like a duck, pull down the strap, the knee is straight. So now take your right leg and move your foot forward a little bit. My right knee is going to go a little bit to the left towards the other leg. My left leg that's in the air, I'm going to stay externally rotated. You probably stop doing that. Pull down the strap. Now move your left leg over to the right, but keep your big toe in front of your nose so it's not very far. Now, tip your pubic bone forward, have a little arch in your back, a little arch above the waistband. If you don't feel anything, teeny tiny movement, bring your foot back closer to your head. But remember, you're externally rotating, bending your ankle, pulling on the strap, and arching the back up off the ground. So it doesn't take much. And then you're done. You're going to go back into the neutral position, turn your toes forward, bring your legs the way they need to be. And then I'm going to tuck my pelvis, flatten the back to the ground. And now you can bring your leg back all the way, walk your hands up your strap. Now your foot is coming closer to your head. I know that's what you want. And then get out of there. So I'm going to release my strap, put the foot down on the floor. And then just pause for a second. I want you to feel that calf muscle of that leg. See if it feels warm and fuzzy. And we'll do side two. So I'm going to bring my knee up, take the middle of the strap, put it around the ball of my foot up towards my toes, not at the toes, just below. And as I kick my leg out long and straight, I'm going to level my thighs or even with each other. Yeah. And then we're going to pump the ankle. I'm going to pull down on the strap and press through the heel. And then I'm going to not pull down. We want to do it 4 times. Pull down, press through the heel. That should be a big stretchy feeling. And relax. Pull down and stretch. So it's a pump. So we're pulling those tissues long, and then when you stop pulling them long, the fluids start rushing around, right? Pull down on the strap, and I'm going to externally rotate from the hip. Turn the foot outwards like a duck. And then back to neutral. Feel it happen from up in your butt. Externally rotate. Back to neutral. 2 more times. Externally rotate. Hello, piriformis. Back to neutral. This time we stay. Externally rotate. Make sure you're bending your ankle. Pull down the strap. The knee is straight. I'm going to move my left foot forward. I got to get it out of the way a little bit. My left knee goes to the right and my right leg goes to the left. My legs are crossing each other. So externally rotate the right leg, pull down on the strap. Now look at your big toe is in front of your nose. I'm going to arch the lower back off the floor. And if you can handle more, if you need more, straighten the knee, externally rotate, pull down the strap, arch the back. The foot can come a tiny bit higher to the ceiling. But you should not be able to go very far if you're doing it right. And then we get out of there just by turning the toes back to neutral. Bring your left leg back in line. And then you're going to flatten the back to the ground. Walk your hands up your strap. And then bring your leg back towards your head. Sinking that thigh bone down into the hip socket. So you're not lifting your butt off the ground. And then get out of there. Oh my, that's the back of the thigh. You can hold your knees to your chest. Give a little rock from side to side. And that prepares us well for our next pose. Let's roll on over to the side. And let's play around with a little pigeon pose, why don't you? Just in case the pigeon lovers are here. All right. So you can be up high on a bunch of blankets. I'll show you the challenging way first. You might need some blocks are really nice sometimes for like your head. You're supporting your arms. So I'll show you 2 ways to come in. The easiest way is to sit next to your support and just put one cheek onto your support and then fold forward. You're going to slide the leg back so your alignment will look something like this. Now, the more intense you can handle the stretch, the more this foot comes out to the side. Once this leg can come up, I really like when you scooch back and put your thigh on your support. And I feel like I'm tipping this way, so I got to bring this back hip. I got to kind of lift up and rotate. And so when we fold forward, it's nice to have something under your elbows and your head. You can have your bolster, your blankets. And we're looking for that stretch. Now we just prepared well for this with all of that pelvic movement and the strap. Take a couple of deep breaths. See what you can soften. Look for the softening in your jaw and your face and your shoulders. Like look for the softening in the upper body, because you might be holding on as you're feeling this hip tension. And we'll take a few more breaths. And when you want to get out of there, you're going to bring your back leg forward and you're going to rearrange yourself to the other side. So I'm going to turn my stuff to the other side. So again, you could be kneeling. If I'm kneeling next to it, notice how my knee is in front of my support. So I just put my cheek on the bolster. And then you fold forward. So if you can handle more sensation, that foot just comes out more to a 90-degree angle. So I actually have my knees in front of my hip, and I lift up and rotate. And fold forward. My left hip has always been my looser one. Things are changing. That's feeling really tight on my left side. So I'm going to add more blanket to the situation. And it feels better to not be down, but to kind of hold myself up. We're looking for the tension in the hip. So if you find that stretchy, pulley stuff happening, support yourself where you can start to relax your jaw. Your shoulders. Feel your breath, maybe finding breath down at the very bottom of your pelvis. If we can linger here for about 2 minutes is our goal. Coming out as gracefully as you can. All right. Let me know if you're a pigeon lover. I never know whether to keep teaching that or stop teaching it. And I did stop teaching it for a really long time. Oops. All right, we need to do a lunge and then we're gonna do a side stretch. So whatever you were just sitting on, you're gonna use that for a side stretch in just a moment. Grab your blocks. And pick a leg. Put your hands on tall blocks. And let's lunge. So let's move back and forth. Remember, I want you to feel as if your legs are creating the movement and your front foot and your back knee have their own lane. And the back foot is hiding behind the back knee. Forward and back. So now we're starting to open up the front of the thigh. We did like the back of the leg, the calf, the hamstring, the outer side of your hip. Now let's stay forward in the lunge. You can make your blocks a little bit shorter, a little more stable. And we're gonna bend the front knee deeply. I'm gonna let my head hang down. I'm just gonna take a real gentle shift of the body weight left to right. I'm going to pause in the center, let the hips sink down. All right, now and we're going to do a different pose. So I'm going to push into my front foot. I'm going to move my butt back. Now I'm going to take the front leg, the leg that is in the front, I'm going to take that block and I'm going to move it over next to the other block. So both of my hands are on the inside of my leg. And then I'm going to bend the front knee deeply. And as I bend the front knee deeply, you're going to be able to sink down a little lower. Some of you might, I'm going to move my blocks forward, you might be able to bring your elbows down to your blocks. This is called lizard. Do you feel like a lizard? And when you want to get out of the lizard, I'm pretty sure you don't think that you can, but you're going to put your hands back, push into that front foot, and back yourself up, and we'll do the other side. Pull the foot back. All right, side two. Lunging and lizard. Just a lunging variation. All right. Check your alignment as you start to move forward and back. We are on side two. We are lunging and pushing into the front foot to back up. Lunging forward. Remember, I like the front toes down on the floor so that you can stretch the top of the foot. And after we've gone forward a few times, let's just stay forward. I can make my blocks lower. We're going to stay in the lunge, lower the head, and just drift a little left and right. It's a very small movement. You could synchronize the breath with the movement. Inhale to one side. Exhale to the other. And when you're ready for the lizard, you don't have to lizard. You're going to push into the front foot, back up. I'm going to take my front leg the block that's on the outside of my front leg, I'm going to bring it to the inside. So both blocks are in front of my back leg. I'm going to walk them up a little bit, and I'm going to make them a little bit taller. And as I come down, I can sink my hips. You might be able to, I like to angle my blocks so they're supportive. Bring the elbows and forearms down towards the block. Just an option. I like how it kind of gets into the tensor fascia lata, a little bit off to the side. When you've had enough, push into the front foot. Use your hands to back yourself up. Pull the foot back. Oh my. I know, right? All right, side stretching. Side stretching. Yay. Forward bends, back bends. Lunging is considered a back bend. So we're extending, opening up the front of the hip. So we're going to go sideways today, but we're going to do like kind of 2 side bends on each side. So first we're going to go sideways for the side ribs, but then I'm going to ask you to put a block in front of your knee. So have your block, and then we're going to reach forward. Ready? So I'm going to the left. I think it looks like the right to you. I'm going to take that arm up to the ceiling. Inhale big. Reach up, reach up. Scooch the arm closer to your head. Lean into the bottom arm. Lay your head down on your shoulder. Relax your legs. Now I want you to rotate your chest a little to the ceiling. That means you need a lumbar curve. And then I want you to bend the bottom elbow just a smidgen. So you might feel this. I feel it kind of down through my belly, the side ribs. Stay as long as you like. Come out with your arm first. Up and open. Pausing at the top. Take a breath. Now I'm going to do the same side. So the side I was just going, I'm going to bring the block in front of my knee. And I'm going to sit back in my seat, put my hand on my block. Now I'm not bending and moving my body forward. We're rounding the back. We're going to reach the arm out. So my hand is over top of my block. I'm reaching on the diagonal. We're going to look at the floor. Take the tip of the tongue behind your front teeth. Inhale through the nose. Inhale into that shoulder blade of the reachy arm. Exhale all the way through your mouth. Feel your belly pull in. And at the end of the emptying, when you're totally empty, just reach your hand forward. Let your shoulder move forward. Look down 2 more times. Inhale, tip of the tongue behind your teeth. Breathe into the shoulder. Exhale all the way through the mouth. As you empty all the way, the belly pulls in, the fingers, the shoulder, the arm moves forward. That's it. Last one. Exhale, reach, 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 reach. Lower your head. Lower that right arm, whatever arm you're on, and then just drift back up to sitting. Pause with your hands on your legs. Close your eyes, take a breath. And ideally, this feels very different, right? Right side, left side. So we're releasing the upper part of the psoas muscle and changing the rib cage. And they're very connected. I send this picture all the time where we see the diaphragm, and the diaphragm goes all the way through. It connects to your spine, and it shares a connection point at your spine with your psoas. So these long, slow exhales help to release the psoas. Change your legs. Doop, dee, doop, dee, doop, dee, doo. And as you release your psoas, then when we go to that next inhale into the side ribs, oh my gosh. We're on side 2. I change my legs. I'm going to the other side. The arm is reaching to the ceiling. Reach up like you mean it. Really, really reach up. Bring the arm to your head and lay your head down on your shoulder. Can you rotate your chest towards the ceiling? Bend the bottom elbow is a possibility. Reach the fingers, reach the fingers. Come out when you're ready, up you come. Block in front of knee. So it's almost like I'm leaning into my blocks. I'm kind of pushing myself back. It's very much like cat pose. And so I'm going to reach my arm out over the block. I want to look down. I'm getting my neck and head out of the picture. I'm just looking down at my knee. Tip of the tongue goes behind the teeth. Take a big breath into the shoulder. Exhale through the mouth, empty all the way. At the end of the emptying, I just want your fingers to reach forward, not the whole body, just your arm. 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale all the way. Relax your neck, reach your arm. Last time. Lower the arm. Bring yourself back up into the center. Close your eyes. Take a breath. Lots of breathing space, right? And when we have the ability to take a long, easy breath, we feel less stressed. Let's bring the bottoms of the feet together. And I'm going to take my blocks and bring them under my legs. I'm going to turn them on the side so there is a flat edge leaning in. My leg is leaning into the flat edge rather than the pointy side. And I'm just going to take some of that tension out of the muscles so that I'm not focusing on how tight I am, but how tall I'm sitting. If you're not able to sit tall, put more stuff under your butt. And now close your eyes and just sense your breath filling into your lungs, down to the belly, down to the bottom of the pelvis. Exhale, feel the softening. Let's do 3 or 4 more breaths. Inhale, just feel the breath expand to the bottom of the pelvis as if you have lungs at the bottom of your pelvis. And now start to press your knees down towards the floor. Sitting up tall, I want you to, especially if you have the blocks, are really nice. Now I can feel my legs are pushing down into my blocks. And I want you to feel like that action is coming from your butt. So my butt is contracting to open through the inner thighs. And just hold it there, hold it there, hold it there, hold it there. And then relax out of it. Let's do that 2 more times. Ready? I'm going to press my knees down and out. Feel the glutes turning on, externally rotating. And release. And last time. Pressing the knees down, 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 down. Feel the glutes turning on. Let me know how you like this, Diane. And release and relax. Take a breath. And slide those legs out long and straight. Oh my goodness. And wiggle the legs. I want you to go outwards. We've been working on that one. So now I want you to take your feet a little bit apart and internally rotate your toes towards each other and feel these inner thighs pulling those legs close. And relax and internally rotate. And relax. One more time, internally rotate. And relax. So we're going to lift up, we're going to fold forward. So you could take these blocks behind your thighs. If you hyperextend your knees or the backs of the legs are just going to scream at you as you go forward. We're going to lift up lengthen up and come far forward from the hip joint. Don't move your spine. Come as far forward as you can. And it may not be very far. Bend your ankles, turn the toes to the ceiling. Leaning forward from the hips. And now let your upper back round from the mid-back up into your neck. Let the head hang down. It's going to create a pull down the back of your spine. And keep your head down and heavy. Move your left ear to the left shoulder. And then move your right ear to your right shoulder. And let's do that again. Move your left ear to your left shoulder. Take a breath in. On an exhale, relax your shoulders. Go the other way. Take your right ear to the right shoulder. Inhale. Exhale, drop the shoulders. Hang your head in the center. Come up nice and slow. Hands to your thighs, help you up. Breathing, pausing at the top. All right. We're going to go to cat and cow. And from cat and cow, we're going to go to our belly for half frog. Then we're going to go to our side for a twist. So if you need blankets for under your belly for half frog, have a blanket ready. And you will need something for under your head for that twist. There, now you know the future. But now, I want you to take one of those blocks, bring it between your knees, and hold it. Come to the hands and knees for cat and cow. So I'm going to squeeze that block, push through the arms, begin at your tailbone, tuck it, point it to the block, round out through each bone, and then lift your tail, saggy cow, nice and slow, moving that awareness up the spine. And one more time, round it out. And you might feel like, oh my gosh, my upper back feels so good. I have a lot of space and movement, and that's all that side bending weird stuff we did with the block under the hand. And then we're going to pause. I'm going to take my block out. I'm going to send my butt back to my feet. You could take the block between your feet. I'm going to reach my arms out. We're going to create a little movement. Let's go back to the hands and knees. Back to saggy cow. Back to cat. Push through the arms. Back to child's pose from cat pose. And keep going. Hands and knees. Saggy cow. Cat. Child's pose. Last time. Saggy cow. Cat. Child's pose. Now, if you're a downward facing dog lover, now is your moment. If you want to rest in child's pose, rest in child's pose. If you want to do a couple more of those cat and cow, tuck your toes. If you're feeling up for downward dog, draw the belly in, push through the arms. You're going to lift your butt. Take your ears inside your arms and push your hands into the floor. Keep your knees a little bent. We're going to press one heel down and then press the other heel down. And if you're like, I'm not doing that downward facing dog stuff, well, if you haven't done it in a while, you might find, hey, I kind of like that. You can press both heels down, draw the belly in, push through the arms. And when you're ready, everybody, we're coming down to the knees, down to the belly. This is where, if you are feeling like being on your belly is a challenge, maybe you have spinal stenosis in the lower back, maybe you have a really tight neck and it's hard to turn your head to the side, maybe you got big boobs and your boobs leaning into the floor doesn't feel very good, then you take a blanket. I'll show you. We're going to turn the head towards the knee. The knee is coming out to the side. Those of you who don't need this. And so if I fold this blanket, it goes here under the belly, and then the boobs aren't on the blanket. That gives you a boob pocket. It also helps with the hips. If your knee doesn't go out to the side very well, it will help with your hips. And if your neck doesn't turn very well, it will help with the neck. So whatever is wrong with your frog, the blanket under the belly is the answer. Isn't it nice that there's an answer? When so much in life is like, what? All right. Oh, here we are. Settling into your frog. Your knee is in line with your hip, so if you can't get it there, scooch it up a little bit. And you're flat. I don't want your knee higher than your hip. We'll do that towards the end. You're as flat as you can be. And we're going to do this little pandiculation to help release tension in the inner thigh. So we were stretching it a little while ago, but now we're going to push the knee that's to the side down into the floor. That'll tighten things up, right? And now pull that knee in towards your hip. So I just felt like my hip lifted in the air. I'm going to hold that tension for a second. And then I'm going to release and let the legs slide back out. Let's do 2 more. Inhale, press the knee down, draw it in. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, push it down, draw it in. And let it go. We're going to pause here. Now we're going to do internal rotation. We've been working on our external rotation. Now we're going to do our internal rotation. So now my knee that's to the side pushes down into the floor and the foot lifts off the ground. And then we lower down and relax. And let's do it again. Push the knee down and drive the foot up to the ceiling. And lower down. Relax. Close your eyes and feel as you push the knee down and lift the foot up. You can even put your hand on your thigh. It's turning inwards. And we are strengthening, relax, our internal hip rotators, which tend to get really weak and lazy. Let's do 3 more. Pushing down, lifting the foot. Relaxing completely, everywhere. Last one. And relax. Take a breath. Now take the knee that's to the side. Now it can come up a little bit higher towards your arm. Might move up an inch or less. And I'm going to give you some options here. So if you don't want to do a back bend for whatever reason, you have spinal stenosis, don't do the next part. Just stay down. You can do the next part after we come up. If you want to come up on the elbows and forearms. Super good for people with sciatica and bulging discs. I'm going to push down into my arms, but use my arms to drag my heart forward. I'm going to engage the glutes just minimally It's not a death grip, but it's just really like, oh, I just engaged my glutes minimally. And as you pull yourself long, you're going to feel this length coming down the front of your thigh, your hip, your belly. We're going to bend the straight leg, take the foot to the ceiling. So if your chest is down on the floor, you did not come up, you can do this part. I'm going to circle my ankle around. Help me forget about the sensation I'm feeling in the front of the thigh. And then I'm going to move my legs side to side. Lower leg goes side to side. And then I'm going to pause. Lower the leg down to the floor when you're ready. Lower your chest all the way down. And there's another part, it is optional. So you can just be like, I don't want to do anything. That's fine. Or bend the straight leg again. Reach back with the opposite hand, the hand that's by your face. Reach back and grab hold of that foot. I know that might sound like funny and impossible. And then let it go when you're ready. Let's do the other side. Slide the leg back. I always like to give the butt a little wiggle. So, we're moving all the tissues of the lower back. And then we'll change sides. Turn your head. Change your arms. Bring the knee to the side. So the direction that your head is turning, that's the knee that's to the side. That hand can be up by your face. And then the other arm is down alongside the body. That helps relax the chest and shoulders. After we begin to settle, we'll start to notice, hey, you might feel some tension through the inner thigh. And that's what the next part is about, just to bring some hydration to the hip joint, get some blood flowing into these inner thigh muscles so that the internal rotation is a little easier. So you're going to push the knee that's to the side down, draw the knee in. It'll feel like it lifts your butt and your hip crease. You pause and let it go. 2 more, down and in. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, push down, draw it in, hold it. And let it go. Push the knee down, lift the foot. And lower it down. Now we're going to do about 8 of these, so be slow and mindful. Close your eyes once you know what you're doing. As you push your knee down and you lift your foot, feel the internal rotation in those muscles working to help that happen. And lower down. And each time you go, it'll probably get a little bit easier. Or maybe a little less scary. Push the knee down, lift the foot, internal rotators turning on. When we walk, we are supposed to internally rotate as the back foot is pushing off the ground to step forward. And so if we tend to walk like a duck, that is not happening. And eventually, the bummer part of that is, besides it, can get real tight in your butt and cause sciatica, but it could also start to it will begin to misalign your knee. So we are lifting the leg, strengthening the internal rotators, so when you walk, your feet aren't so far out to the side like a duck, and it can help you push off your big toe while you're walking. You're welcome. Last one, let it go. Really let go everywhere. Soften everything. Everything, everything. More. Now move the knee up a little bit. And come up under your elbows and forearms if you want to. Total option. Use your arms to pull yourself long. Whoo-wee. Sometimes when I'm up here, I'll do a little sideways motion, just a tiny bit left and right. You know, I'm like little tiny, really. Micro movement. And then when you're ready, bend the straight leg foot up. Everybody can do that and circle your ankle. Once you're done your ankle circles, keep your foot relaxed and just let your leg go side to side. This is internal and external rotation. Doesn't have to be big. I just want the ball to move in the socket. And after everything we've done today, it's ready for that movement. And then lower the leg and chest. The last piece, again, optional if you can. Bend the straight leg, grab hold of the foot. I would try to go towards the ankle more than the toes. And let go. Oh my goodness. Slide the leg all the way back. You could put your head in the center if you like, or not. Have the knees apart and bend your knees. Take your feet to the ceiling. And let's do these upside down windshield wipers. Now both feet go right and left. And let your pelvis rock. And then we'll lower down. Doop-de-doop-de-doo. And let's turn to the side. So you're going to roll to your side. And this is where you're going to want something under your head. So we'll pull it all together now with a twist. Oh my goodness. Whatever you have under your head, if you move it back a little bit, scooch the bottom shoulder out from under you, bring your knees up nice and high. And we're going to do a different twisting routine. So I'm just going to take my hands, top hand lays on the bottom hand. And I'm going to start to reach my top hand forward. So my chest rotates down towards the floor. And if you push that blanket back from underneath your nose, you can reach forward, let your nose turn down. Take a breath in this position, and then nice and slow, the top hand meets the bottom hand. Keep your knees stacked one on top of the other. I know you won't be able to twist as far, but rotate the chest to the ceiling. And let's repeat that, rotating forward, reaching way out. And rotating back to the twist. One more time. Good for the shoulders and the neck and the back and the internal organs. This time we're going to stay in this twist. And we're going to take a variation. I'm going to give you some options. You can take your top leg. You don't have to do anything. You can take your top leg and bring it up higher. And I'm going to tuck the bottom of that leg under the lower leg. And then I pull that lower leg up a little bit. So I've wrapped my legs around each other. I call this the twisty tie. Another variation that you can do here is to hold that top leg down And then just take that other leg, the bottom leg, and just scooch it out straight. You're really, if you're in the twisty tie, you're pretty close to being there now. If the top leg doesn't land on the floor, bring your block in underneath your shin bone. And then your leg feels as if it's on the floor. And that will communicate to your nervous system that you have support. And the nervous system will go to that down-regulated calm state rather than up-regulated annoyed state. Let it be easy. We're winding down. When you feel done, take the block out if it's there, drag the bottom leg up. If you pause for a moment, it might feel a little looser than when we started. I'm going to take it to the other side. So if you feel like you can follow my instructions, just roll to your back, knees to your chest. If you need to watch, you can sit up, take your head to the other side. So we're going to start with the knees up high. We're doing variations of twisting. And my hands are on touching each other, extended out from the shoulders. My knees are in front of my hips, and I'm going to slide my top hand beyond the bottom hand, letting the chest move down towards the floor. Take a breath. Really, really reach out there. Come on. Slowly let your hands slide along your arm. Rotate the ribs towards the ceiling. Let's repeat that 2 times. Wringing out the tensions through the internal organs, reaching forward, let your nose turn down. And then rotate to the ceiling with the chest. Just loving the body. Love the movement, feel the breath. Inhale as you reach out and exhale to the twist. And then taking your variations whenever you're ready. You have 2 options. You can try them both. Top leg comes up and tucks under the bottom leg like a twisty tie. Kind of gives you that stretch in the hip, maybe like a pigeon pose. Keep the top leg where it is. The bottom leg can scooch out long and straight. And again, if the top knee doesn't land on the floor, just slide your block under there. So when we have support beneath the body senses that, gives information back to the brain. Everything's okay. We can relax. Notice your breathing. And dragging that bottom leg up if it's straight. Let's roll to the back, hold the knees to the chest. Rock a little side to side. Maybe taking happy baby. Maybe hold behind your thighs. Take your feet to the ceiling. Hugging your thighs wide away from each other. feet apart. Maybe you can grab hold of your feet like you did when you were a baby, rocking left and right. And we are ready for Shavasana. All right. How will you set yourself up? Will you stay for Shavasana? Will you give yourself the most delicious, comfortable experience? Will you nurture your body for just a few moments so that when you go out into your day, you can be calm, peaceful, and creative? I'm watching to see if you're staying. Oh, you didn't know I could see you today? Yeah, I see you. I see you. All right. So a little something under your head, maybe. Cover up, put your socks on if you're not in Florida. I'm turning off my lights. Get nice support under my legs, my head. We're going to settle in. We're going to do some breathing. Notice your normal breath. We're going to practice the box breath. We're going to inhale 4, pause 4, exhale 4, pause 4. It's all very gentle and the same. We begin. Inhale 2, 3, 4. Pause 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4. Pause 2, 3, 4. Take a normal breath. Those are optional from now on. Inhale for 4. Pausing 4. Exhale 4. Pausing 4. Letting all the sides of the box be the same length, the same pace, the same gentle effort. This breathing practice helps us to be resilient. And that is health, right? To bounce back. There's always going to be stress. Health is to be able to bounce back from the stressful situation. Let's go around the box again. So even. As you like, the breath returns to a natural rhythm. Bring your awareness down to your feet, noticing toes and feet and legs and hips, all at the same time. Noticing the whole lower half of the body, feet, legs, and hips. Resting heavy. Resting completely. Be aware of your hands and your arms and your shoulders. Resting heavy. Completely. Noticing your torso, the back, the sides, the front. Your torso, the front, and the sides, and the back. And inside. Let there be a softening inside the torso. Notice your neck, your head, and your face. Outside and inside. Softening. Let your awareness settle into the center of your brain. Witnessing the stillness. There's always movement. There's the movement of your breath. The sounds in your room. As you take your awareness to the center of the brain, you're witnessing everything from this stillness at the center of the brain. And from this inward place, begin to say to yourself, I am resilient. I am resilient. I am resilient. What does that look like? You being resilient. What does that look like? Lingering as long as you like. I give you permission to linger. Remember when you choose to come up, to roll to your side and be on your side. Feeling as if you are bringing your practice with you. Back out into your day, back out into your relationships. All the relationships. Your relationships with everything. Nature, people, food. Namaste.